Hello everyone, this is Pilpoh, and this is Space Engineers. Oh, that's dramatic, isn't it? Before we jump in, I want to just say that I'm going to try something new on the channel today. I'm going to take a Sunday every so often, and I'm going to look at some different games. Now, ideally, they'd be games that are kind of similar to the content I normally make, which is modded Minecraft. So that's, you know, like creative, survival, crafter sort of games. Something that fits in with the other stuff on this channel. So if you've got any games that you think I should try, drop a comment down below, and you might actually see it in a video from me on a Sunday soon. Anyway, let's crack on with Space Engineers. Let's start with the blurb that's on Steam. So, Space Engineers is a sandbox game about engineering, construction, exploration, and survival in space and on planets. Players build spaceships, space stations, planetary outposts of various sizes, and use piloted ships and travel through space to explore planets and gather resources to survive. What it doesn't say here that this game is ridiculously complicated. Now, there is only kind of a small gathering of people that still play Space Engineers. That's kind of increased recently because Space Engineers 2 has come out, but we'll talk about that in a second. So all I'll say is the GUI is very confusing in this game, and there is like a mountain when it comes to the learning curve. So it's kind of a difficult game, and I thought it would fit with those people out there that love like Greg Tech. And in fact, there's a little bit of tedium that is involved, especially in the early game of Space Engineers, that I think those people that love Greg Tech would enjoy a lot, which is why I'm bringing it to you today. I also, full disclosure, absolutely love this game. I'm not being sponsored or anything to play this. I just really love it, and I've always loved it. It's one of my favorite games other than Minecraft, I'd say. So that's why I'm bringing you it today as well. Now, let's go over the ridiculous looking price tag when it comes to this game. Now, it's a little bit DLC heavy, and as far as I'm aware, the DLC don't actually do anything except for cosmetic things. So you can get different versions that just look different of the machines and the blocks and stuff that you can build with in Space Engineers. So they're all cosmetic, and even with the latest update, which has been a food and a crop update, now you have to eat food in the game. That's actually quite new. I believe you can still use that if you have literally the base game, which costs barely anything. However, it is $90, I'd say. I'm not sure what it is in dollars in funny money, but in Great British pounds, it was £75. That's quite expensive, I know, but that's for all the DLC. I will say I have all the DLC because I love this game and I support the developers. So I've been buying them as I go. Plus, there's a ton of DLC here. And unlike things like The Sims, where it's basically the price of a brand new game for, a different colored shoe, the DLC here is actually really good looking, and they put a lot of effort into their DLC. And with that DLC, obviously the money goes towards also developing the game. So you can have the base game, which has all of these functions as well. So I really like the ethos of the Space Engineers developers, which is the Keen Software House. Now, Space Engineers, I will say, this version of Space Engineers, this is Space Engineers 1, was created as an asteroid mining game. And because it was an asteroid mining game, there weren't things in there at the beginning, such as the survival aspect. It was basically, you fly around and you mine up some asteroids, and you make a little mining ship that can mine up the asteroids even faster. Make a bunch of stuff, and then job done. You can build a massive base out of all of the stuff you've collected from the asteroids. They then added planets, which I think at one point they said they would never add planets. And then they started adding pre-generated structures and stuff like that, which is so cool. But now we've got planets which we can land on and have atmosphere and things like that. So yeah, the game engine was definitely not designed for that to begin with. So it does get kind of stressed every so often. However, there is Space Engineers 2. See, I told you we'd come back to it. Now, Space Engineers 2 is very new. I'd say, I think it came out like last year sometime. I made a video on it the day it came out. And I was kind of disappointed. I thought it'd be like a full game, but I didn't look into it that much. But what they're doing, Keen Software House, is they are creating the game and giving you a devlog as they do it, which is really cool. And they've also like outlined a whole roadmap and stuff. If you're in the software development like sphere, then you'll know what this sort of vernacular means, right? So they've got like a roadmap. They're going to do it in vertical slices and stuff like that. So, oh, so cool. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully I do cover the basics in this video. And if it has intrigued you, I will, at the end of the video, tell you about a couple of other people that are doing content on Space Engineers, if it piques your interest, let's say. There's people like Splitsy, who is basically the Direwolf 20 of Space Engineers. And there's a couple of like locals, like there's a Brit called Lunar Colony, who I've always enjoyed their content. So I'll try and link those in the description. And we're just going to crack into it. So let's start a new world. So clicking on new game, you are presented with a ridiculous amount of options. Now, I'm just going to say right now, we're just going to go for star system. Ignore the rest for now, unless you want to go and do some tutorial stuff. Maybe start on red ship if you want to. Just have a little poke around and then come back to star system. Now, you can customize star system. You can make it a lot easier on yourself by bumping up all of the efficiencies and stuff. Grinding speed, you can set that to like, I don't know, whatever the highest is. Number 5 or whatever. But we're not going to do that. You can also add custom mods in this. This game's been out for a while, so there is a good modding scene behind it. But for now, I'm going to come out of there, and we're just going to click on Start. And that will generate a brand new world for us. And here we go. We get to pick our start. We are going to start off on the Earth-like drop pod. There is the Moon drop pod, which is the same drop pod, but you spawn on the Moon instead of an Earth-like planet. There's Titan. All of these have got difficulty levels. If we have a look at the Earth-like again, that one's easy. Moon is normal. Titan is also normal. Alien is very difficult. They have some environmental factors that you have to think about. Triton is, again, pretty easy. We got Mars, which is normal. Europa, which is very hard because there's no stone. It's all ice, basically. Pertan, which, again, is hard. It's quite a big planet as well. And then I've always found that the space one, where you spawn in a pod in space, is not as hard as the rest of them. I find going to space is very difficult. So we're just going to go to the Earth-like drop pod, and we're going to spawn in. And there we go. We are currently falling in. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is press V. That is to change my view. We are right now being flung at the floor right there, and parachute has deployed. Now, what I did right there was I pressed V to change my view. I pressed Alt to go into free cam mode, and I am looking around. Now, I did see, I think, over in that direction over there. So, if I zoom back in. Okay, we were almost facing in the right direction. There we go. I'm going to set myself right behind the rover. We are going to set ourselves the target of going over to... Do you see on... Over there, you can kind of see discolorations on the floor where my, 2-meter thing is right there. Now, we do want to head towards those. We want to try and find ourselves some iron ore. You can get iron from stone, so it's not a massive issue if you can't find iron straight away. But I will be just driving over to these. You can see right there, the discolorations are like white discolorations on this kind of terrain. And they sort of go black as well. So there's silicon, there's some nickel. If this has got iron as well, I'd be very happy. So far, it's just silicon and nickel. Magnesium. Oh, okay. There's always about 3. So we've got silicon, nickel, and magnesium right here. So I'm going to do a thing. And that is, I'm going to press... First off, I'm going to park by pressing P. I'm going to press I, which is my inventory. And right here, we've got GPS. So you've got loads of tabs right here. This is what I was saying earlier. The GUI is actually kind of complicated. I'm going to go to GPS. I'm going to do new from current position. And I've already forgotten what it is. Is it silicon? Silicon. You could put the official, like, periodic table names for it, but I never do because I always forget them. So it was silicon, magnesium, and nickel, I think, right? So I'm going to do sil, mag, and then nick. Now, that does get confusing later on because silver is also in this game. So putting sil is always confusing. But if I do that and then I take my parking brake off and we drive away, you can see, if I were to reverse, for example, you can see there is a little waypoint. And that waypoint will stay there forever unless we delete it. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to go to GPS. I'm actually going to double click it and it will turn it off from my GUI right there. So let's take off the parking brake. We're going to go drive around for a little bit. I'm going to drive in this direction, I think. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to zoom out a little bit to see if we can find any more of those discolorations on the floor. I don't see any, but I quite like the look of this this little like valley that we're about to go into. It's very picturesque, this area, isn't it? So yeah. Anyway, let's find. Maybe we'll go down into that valley. I can already see there's some discolorations right here. So fingers crossed, we hit the mother lode of iron. Iron. Look at that. I know iron's Fe, by the way, so we could use that if we wanted to. What else have we got around here? So is it just iron? And there must be like other ones as well. Okay, I don't want to miss this, so I am going to put down a quick GPS from current position, and then we're going to call it iron. Perfect. I will leave that one on as well, because we'll come back to that. There's another set of discolorations over in this area, where my cursor is pointing right now. So I'm going to go over to there as well. You can see them. They're like white on this this like sandy looking stuff right here. So you never know, there might be some cobalt as well. So there's several materials you want to look for when you first start off in Space Engineers. This one, this cobalt. How am I getting so lucky? And there's iron around here. Okay, this might be where we start off. Iron, and then there was cobalt in this direction, wasn't there? Okay, yeah, we are... I tell you what, I'm just going to park up. There you go. Now, we are currently in this rover, and you can sort of see us in there. I'm going to take my my helmet off. If I do press J. Can you see my face right there? It's kind of covered by all of the text on the screen. There you go. There's me. I can take my helmet off, put it back on. I'm like blinking at you right now, like that. So... I'm just going to hop out, and I always like to, when I'm in my suit mode, I always like to go into first person mode. So this is, there you go, you can see our feet running around and stuff. There's a bad guy over there, pirate relay post, okay. So the first thing we should probably talk about is we've got ourselves a drill. This is a personal hand drill. We've also got a grinder. The grinder is really cool because you can use it to like break down things. Like right here, we've got a half light armor block on our rover's sort of grid. It's called a grid, by the way, this thing right here. And what we can do is I can grind that half block off if I wanted to. I half did it right there so I could show you what the welder does. And the welder will just fix stuff for you. Now, the way that you build in this game is you need a component. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to take that half light armor block off. Like that. And we actually got from that a steel plate. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to, if I press the G menu, is what I call it at least. Press G and it brings up all of the blocks that you're allowed to actually work with right now. There is a progression system, meaning that you have to build, in this case, an assembler before you can make like an interior turret or like a corner medical room or whatever, right? And there's several different ones like this one right here. You need an interior wall before you can make some pipes, for example. Down here, you got the refinery before you can make an ore detector, so on and so on. Now, what I'm looking for in blocks is I am looking for a half. There it is. Half light armor block. I'm going to put that on number 4. If you were to double click, it would overwrite whatever you've got in your hand currently. And that was my grinder. I did not want that. So there it is. Now, you might have seen right there, if I press 4 again, there's a big version of it. Now, I looked at a small grid, and it gave me a small version of it. There is 2 types of grids in this game. There's a large grid, which is this one, and a small grid. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to spin this around. It is your insert home, page up, delete, end, and page down buttons to spin these around. Kind of annoying for me because one of those is my stop recording button, so I'm not going to press it. But I can place that right there, and you can see it has got basically the skeleton of the block right there. If there was more than one item, more than one component needed, it would only put in the single first component. And then when you use a welder on it, it would put the rest of the components in from your inventory. So I can weld that back up. You can see this one's actually not the same color as where it was before. It was white before, I believe. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting, but there it is. Right, so that's the welder. That is the grinder. That is how you you place things in the world. I'm actually going to... I'll grind that off. And what we'll do... I don't want to grind anything behind it or anything. So, yeah. I'll grind that off. And what we'll do instead... I'm going to go to the G menu. There's 2 menus. There's like a crafting... It's like... This is JEI. And then if I press I, this is my inventory. They are different things. I don't really like that about this game. I think there's too many, like, GUIs. There's too many user interfaces in this game. For my liking, at least. But it's a complicated game. It needs all of these things. And I've not really seen anyone make a mod or anything, which makes it better, let's say. Anyway, I am going to grab the light armor block. And we can use the light armor block right here. Press 4 again. It puts it into the large grid mode. And we can use this like that. Now, this needs 25 steel plates for it to be, you know, actually working. But what we can do is we can just leave it like this. And it's still here, so we could still use it. That is interesting. We could go to the unknown signal over there. I think I might do. There's the cobalt right there. Oh, love it. Right, before we go there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a... I don't know, maybe 2 loads of... Yeah, 2 loads of stone. Now, there's 2 ways to, like, mine in this game. The first way is you crouch and you just press left click. And you can see right there, it gave me some stone. And then you press F to pick it up. You can hold F as well whilst you do it. And you can basically pick up most of the stuff anyway. Unless you miss like me. So you can do that. However, you might have noticed that this has given us, like, not much stone. So what you can do is instead you can right click and it goes into destruction mode. It doesn't drop anything. We are actually destroying the ground because we want to get down to a rocky level like this. I think this is the rock that we're looking for. Also, I kind of went too far down. Made it a little bit too steep. We might have to use our jetpack to get out, but it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press F and I'm going to mine all of this. And it should be... You can see our inventory is going up. Now, the inventory screen is just above where I've got my action bar right there. So you can see how much you've got. There you go. It's just gone red, meaning that we are close to being full up. If I do that, helpfully says that our inventory is full. Now, I'm going to use my jetpack. You can use your jetpack to fly around. We will be using it in a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and I'm going to drop those into our survival kit. So that is at the back right here. That's where our survival kit is. There's this thing called conveying, which is kind of complicated to explain. But basically, this survival kit is connected via tubes and everything to the front here, to the cockpit. Now, I am actually going to get in here. And I am going to release the parking brake. We're going to go over to that unknown signal. So I think that would be a great idea. Now, this is handling a little bit worse than it was previously. And I'll tell you why. It's full of stone. Of course it's handling worse than it was. Now, where is that? Is it up on the mountain that it is? Or is it... I actually don't know where that is. But we want to go to the unknown signal. They're quite good for us. And we've already put down a little waypoint, haven't we? So we know where we're going. Or we know how to get back to our little area. Whilst we go over there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the inventory. I'm going to go to production. I'm going to go to ingots. And I'm going to shift-click twice on the gravel ingots. Now, what that's going to do is if we have a look at the connected inventories, it's going to take the stone and it's going to convert the stone into some gravel. When it does that, it has a byproduct of iron, nickel, and some silicon. So you can basically get all of those from stone. Later on, it might be a cool idea to set up like a big stone miner. Now, I'm going to get as close as I can with this, and then we'll use our jetpack, and I'll show you how the jetpack works. It is the most lethal thing in this game, the jetpack. I'll put that out there because the amount of times that I've accidentally killed myself with the jetpack is insane. Now, you don't have much fuel. You do use hydrogen to fuel your jetpack. And I'm just going to try and get over here. We know where everything is. We've got, like, the... you know, the icons and everything. Now, we are going to come here, and I am going to safely land without actually hurting ourselves. That's pretty good. Now, these things are cool. You can press a button on it. Are we going to get lucky? No, we're not. Damn. Okay. But that sometimes gives you some cosmetics that you can use in-game. But the nice thing about this is the fact that you can grind this entire thing down with the grinder. But before we do that, I'm going to have a look for the small cargo container. And that one's got, an enhanced drill. Always good. We've also got some veggie seeds, which is very nice for those of you that haven't played this in a while or, you know, are new to this. You do need food, and I am definitely not there right now with the food. I need to figure something out with it. Luckily, they do give you a little bit of food to begin with. Oh, yeah, the nice one about this is the fact that you get a hydrogen thruster, which has got some metal grids in it. And there we go. We ground everything down. Our power, you can see on the left there, our power has gone down quite a bit. It's now at 88. And our hydrogen is at 50, 54 right now. So our hydrogen is quite bad, but we shouldn't need a lot of hydrogen to get back to our little area. If I do this. Did I not mark the... Oh, we didn't. Okay, so we know where to go anyway, but still. I've actually turned my jetpack off. I'm going to turn it back on before we splat, because you can hurt yourself doing this. And you can see our jetpack is low. Oh, there you go. Unidentified signal. It should tell us in a second.
Fuel low.
There we go. And then if we're flying around, it will just turn our jetpack off for us.
Fuel critical.
Yeah, because we haven't got any fuel yet. Get back into our pod, and you can see our hydrogen has gone all the way back up. So there's several different bars that you have to keep an eye on right there, right? We've got the health, we've got the food, we've got the power. Oxygen we don't care about because, well, we've taken our like helmet off even because we don't care about the oxygen. We don't need it to breathe on this planet because this planet has a bunch of oxygen, which is very nice. Whereas the hydrogen we do need because we need it for our jetpack fuel. Right, I'm going to take this. We're going to remove the parking brake and we're going to turn around. I'm a terrible driver in this game, by the way. I'm pretty good at driving in real life, but just in this game, I'm just really bad for some reason. We're going to drive all the way back over to our little area with iron, cobalt, and nickel. There we go. Nice one. So, with that gravel turning into all of the different materials right there, we did get ourselves 72 Fe right there, which is ingots of iron. And 7 ingots of iron turns into 1 steel plate. So that was 10 steel plates we got from 1 inventory of stone. However, look at how many we got from actually going to one of those unknown signals. It's pretty good, right? Very good. So now that we've done that, what we should do is start a little starter base. Now, it has started raining, which is not very good for us, but it's all good in the hood. I am actually going to build this I want to build it so it's like kind of flat to the floor. So you do want to kind of... I'm not going to use this hole again, I don't think. So I'm going to do it maybe there. There you go. And then we can snap it directly to these things right there. There you go. And now we can walk on it and everything, and it's all good. Now, what a load of people do, including myself, is we set up... Okay, I can't actually jump on that one. That's so annoying. Up here I can, though. We set up our base entirely with scaffold to begin with. This is what this stuff sets off as. So we're just going to build a big little tower. Big little tower. Brilliant. That missed. Okay, I do want to keep hold of that one, so let's do that. And right on the top there is where we want to do... Have we got any interior plates? We do indeed. We want to put a wind turbine. Now, a wind turbine, if it's connected to a grid... This is technically a new grid right here, by the way. This one. This, I'm actually going to right-click that and put it to my build planner. We'll talk about the build planner in a second. But... the wind turbine, because it's connected via all of these, this is our grid. It will provide power to anything on this grid. Now, this could provide power to something that is like flipping ages away in that direction, as long as the grid is continuous. Or you've used a connector for like a bigger ship and stuff. So, yeah, that is a cool thing to think about right there. We've got that up there. Now, as I just showed you, if you right-click, you actually put that in your build menu. If I were to press G again, you see this is our build planner. Sorry, build planner is what we're looking for. So we need 33 interior plates. We need 6 motors. And we need 23 girders. They're the things that we need right there. So what we can do is we can open this up. We can press this. Add components from build menu to production queue. Now this right here is the production menu. Remember we put in some of the gravel earlier. Well, what we can now do is we can say, we can either say, oh, we need 23 girders, and we can click 23, and then it will go get us those, and we can take them out. Or you can go back to the inventory, and you can click this button right here, Build Planner. There you go. They're all of the things that we need right there for a wind turbine. So it actually needs iron and nickel. Looks like we've got everything for that, so that's really useful. There you go. It's working on the girders now. Perfect. Now, you'll notice right here, we've got a survival kit. It says right there. Now, if you've got multiple, if you've got like an assembler or something on your grid, as well as the survival kit, you can actually pick which one does the creation of the materials. So you could say, my assembler, I want you to make all of the girders, for example. And then you can go over to your survival kit and say, I want you to make, I don't know, all of the motors or something like that. I don't know why you would want to do that, but still. That right there did give us all of the components we needed. Now, if we have a look again in here, withdraw components for build planner. Hold control for 10 times the amount. Okay, cool. We don't want to do that. Deposit all the ores that we've got. So we could actually click this and it would put 4 components were not deposited. Perfect. That is the stuff that cannot go in here. So like the metal grids do not fit in this inventory. Nor do the radio components or large steel tubes or the small steel tubes, funny enough. But what we can do now is we can press this button, which is withdraw from this inventory right here, all of the stuff in our build planner, which, again, I'll show you that. We need 33 interior plates, 6 motors, and 23 girders, which we've got right here, right? Instead of doing this button right here, though, we could actually middle click on this, like that. And if we have a look in our inventory, there you go, we've got all of the components. So I am actually going to fly up here, and what we'll do is just weld this up. Now, I am going to quickly get on top so we don't have to use all of our hydrogen. And we can see that that has gone past the functional line right there, and it is producing some power for us. So I'm going to jump off of here. There we go. So we've now got power on this grid right here. Nothing is connected to the grid, though. So the next thing we want to do is we want to set up a basic refinery. This thing can refine stone and it can refine ores, whereas the yeah, the, what's this called again? Survival kit, that's the one. Cannot refine ores. Now, we're sitting on a bunch of ore, as I just said. We've got, like, if I were to get out the drill again. The drill's got a little ore detector on it as well, so you don't need to be near your little rover to see that. But if we have a look around, we've got, like, the nickel, we've got the iron and everything. Like, this thing cannot refine that, whereas a refinery can, funny enough. So I'm going to grab all of the steel plates that we've got. I'm going to make a refinery, and I'm going to put it right here. Now, I am looking at the conveyors. So, remember this right here? That is a conveyor. We've also got conveyors on this thing right here. So, if we have a look, there's a conveyor on the front. There's a conveyor on the back. And that's it. The basic assembler, which is the other thing we're going to make, which is just a little boxy thing. This one's only got one conveyor as well, right there. Now, I actually want to... Not that way. There you go. I want to do that right there. So, basically, these two conveyors are kissing right now. I probably should work on the refinery first, I'd say. So, I'm going to shift... Actually, no. I'm just going to right-click on this, and it added it to my build planner. So, if we have a look... There you go. It's added it to the build planner. I'm actually going to right-click on this one as well, because that means both of them are on the build planner. We can run over to this one. And I think it's shift, middle mouse button, and it puts all of the components. It basically does this thing right here. Add components from the build planner to your production queue. We have a look. There you go. There's all of the things that we need. It says we need basically 1,100 more iron. So we need a lot of iron, basically. I am actually going to dig down again. We could go over somewhere else and start digging, but I think we should just dig like over here somewhere. I'm going to dig down right here, and I'm going to try and get a better little slope, so we don't have to like use our jetpack to get out, if you know what I mean. Now it's getting quite dark, so I am going to press L to turn on my lights. So I'm going to go down a little further than this. Like that. Now, can we get back up? It's still quite steep, isn't it? But you can still run up, so that's not too bad. Lovely. Right. I'm going to do some mining down here for a bit. I'm going to get maybe 3 or 4 stacks, 3 or 4 inventories worth of stone. And I'm going to... Yeah, thank you. Inventory full. I'm going to stick them into the survival kit. So, to put all of the stuff from... So, if we do this, remember we could do that button right there. Clears all the ores, ingots, and components. Instead of doing that, I'm going to press Alt, middle mouse, and it puts all of that into here. Now, if we have a look at production again, we have got ingots first. What we can do is put those at the back of the queue, and what will happen there is it will use all of the iron that we've got until we don't have any more iron or any more things that it can create, and then it will use the stone that we've got to make more iron and more of the components. So that's always a good one to do. Anyway, I'm going to dig down here and I'll do the several inventories and we'll be back in a sec. Pretty sure this is not enough iron that we've just made, but what I can do at least is I can middle mouse button on there to get all of the components that we can. And I'm going to try and chuck them all into this basic refinery. Now, what we can do is we can use the wind power over here and the basic refinery to, instead of using this to get ourselves some, like, gravel ingot thingies out of all of the stone, we can refine it in the refinery instead, all of the stone. That might be a good idea, is what I was thinking. If we go back to production, I might need to... Oh, actually, you're about to do that one, aren't you? Interesting. Hopefully it will crack on with the iron plates at some point, or steel plates. Let's grab these and we'll go over here. Oh, we need some motors, and then we are good to go. Okay, I'm going to tell this to prioritize the motors from now on then. Let's put that there. Okay, yeah, we're just going to work on that one, I suppose. So, for the motors, we do need a bunch of iron. Again. Always iron. Always iron. Fine, I will go mine some more. Ooh, there's a little thing that... little tune that plays whenever one of those unknown signals comes in. I'm going to go over to that one, I think, so we can try and get some more of these very juicy looking components, I think, from one of those unknown signals. We'll wait for it to land. Maybe we'll wait for it to get down to 12 minutes. After that time runs out, by the way, it explodes. So just be careful of that one. You can go over to it, and I believe you can claim it and just leave it there if you wanted to. They are a lifesaver if you are playing with suit only and you manage to land on a planet. One of those can spawn in, and if you can get enough components together, you can get a seat. You can put it on there, and you can charge your suit off of one of those. That's what I've done before. That's quite a fun little challenge for yourself. Ooh. I think it just, did it tick over? Hey, there we go. We've nearly got everything for the basic refinery. There we go. It says high voltage on there as well, so be careful. Now we can open this one up, and we can start. Okay, we've got barely any in this one. I'm going to take the scrap as well, but what you can do is you can stick all of the stone in there. And there you go. It got us like barely anything from that, but that's absolutely fine. We got some iron from that one. I am just going to go doing some more digging. Now, I just realized that we did get ourselves a enhanced hand drill. Now, if we were to go into the build menu, there is our character items that we could use. And this one has got the enhanced drill. So I'm going to put the drill on our hotbar like that instead of the drill we were using. And this is just a little bit better, right? It gets you more stuff as you mine. And it's just quicker overall. We could dig out this entire area relatively quickly right now.
Inventory full.
Inventory full. Haunts my dreams, that phrase does. Anyway, we're going to... Don't put it in there. Don't put it in there. Wait. We're going to take that off of the production right there. I'm going to grab all of that stone, sorry. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it instead. So Alt, middle mouse button, and it puts all of them in here. And there you go. You can see... We've got a better efficiency with this, and it does make the gravel, but it auto makes it for us. And look how quick that was compared to the other stuff we were doing. So I'm going to take all of these bits out, and I'm actually going to put them in the survival kit for now. Because I feel like that's something we might need. And if we have a look at production, we still need like 500 more iron. So a lot more stone is needed. However, we did just get to 12, it just said. 12 minutes on the unknown signal. I don't feel comfortable flying over there still, so we are going to grab... Well, we're going to get into our rover and we'll drive over there. Now, before we do, just so we don't miss it, I'm going to run back over to... I'm going to run back over to our little area, and I'm going to do GPS from current position, base. Nice. So we know where it is in the dark. Awesome. Right. So I'm going to use this, and we are just going to drive in the dark towards that unknown signal. Okay, on our way. I am feeling a little peckish by the looks of it. So I am actually going to eat one of the meal packs that they give you to begin with. So I'm a little bit wary of that red signal over there as well. We could go towards that at some point, and we could try and take it out. There is a few little bases that spawn, basically, that you can go and raid if you wanted to. That's actually my favorite thing to do in this game, is to like raid other bases and things like that. Anyway, we're going to get up to the top here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to put my parking brake on. And then we're going to fly over there. I don't exactly know where we are. It's quite dark, but it's all good in the hood because... Okay, that was bad. And I knocked it over as well, I think. Whoopsie. Cool. I didn't realize... What are these? They've got like a little access panel. I like that. Anyway, we can have a look in here. We've got loads of scrap metal. That's pretty good. We've got some med kits. That's awesome. And we got some fruit seeds. Seeds, I think, are going to be important later on. Some offset lights. There's the button. So we want to press that. Ah, we're not getting very lucky today, are we? Is that the same one? I think that is a large, or is it a medium cargo container? I think it's medium. Whoa, look at that. We got a decent amount of stuff. We've got a red inventory right now. Now, I am going to fly up here. You just saw some lightning as well. That's kind of scary. That can actually hit you, and it's bad for you. Let's just say that. Now, I think I've decided on where I want to finish the video today. Instead of going into space, which is kind of a pain in the bum, I will admit, we are just going to set up a little base for us to start off with. So we're going to have a fully set up base, basically. Get it? Basically. Anyway, right, let's hop out. I did not park you, so park. Hop out. Turn my jetpack off. We don't need that. I am going to... Oh, middle mouse. Don't have anything for that. But how much stuff have we got right here? Decent. Decent amount of stuff right there. Right, how much stuff can we get out of here? Okay, middle mouse button. Pretty good, pretty good. We just need a ton more computers. We need some more motors and displays. Oh, it's a beautiful sight. When all of these right here are like white and they're not red, that means that you've got all of the components, all of the materials to make the components at least. Oh, we love to see it. See, available and then required. Oh, so good. So, once all of these are made, we can make our assembler, and we actually don't need to make anything in our survival kit anymore. The survival kit can only make sort of basic materials, and the assembler can make some better materials. That is what these materials right here are, like, made in, basically. Like the metal grids and the large steel tubes. You need those for things later on, which, yeah. So, I should probably talk about the progression system in this as well. Now, we've got this over here, which is called a basic refinery, and we've got this, which is a basic assembler. There is an assembler and a refinery as well, funny enough. And the refinery, you can put add-ons on it, and the add-ons can give you, like, better yields from the ore that you give it, or it can just be, like, you can chuck a bunch of speed add-ons, and it can just, like, crunch through and get you, like, loads and loads of resources super, super quick. I think that was, if I middle mouse, is that all of the bits? No, we need some displays and stuff. Okay. Why are you not giving me the displays? Did I put those away in somewhere weird? No, they're right there. Are you not connected anymore? I thought you were all connected. Unless these ones do not go through for some reason. The conveyor. Okay, I need to just grab, like, all of this stuff. Maybe I had all of the stuff for it and I was just doing it from the wrong place. It doesn't matter. We can put this here. Now, this right here is now conveyed up to the basic refinery. So we can have a look in here. We go to production and we can make all of this stuff. So we can actually grab, like, for example, the iron from here. I'll put it in the assembler, nickel, and the silicon as well. Now, another thing you can do, I made too many computers because I wasn't watching properly. You can go to disassemble mode. So this is the disassembling one that you've got right here. And I can say, disassemble a computer for me. And it will get us iron and silicon. So we can say, disassemble all of those. And it is slowly getting us some iron and some silicon. It's pretty cool. That means that, for example, I made way too many of these construction components. And these displays. I'm going to keep hold of the steel plates because they're always good to keep on hand. So if I have a look in here, I can say disassemble all of these things that are in here. And it will go through and it will disassemble, like, the displays. Again, it will get us iron and silicon. And the computers are getting us, again, iron and silicon. And then iron from the construction components. Now, if we were to have a look at the control panel right here, it will tell us everything on this grid. So, as you can see, we've got a basic assembler, basic refinery, and a wind turbine. Now, what is really cool is apparently we've got nearly 500 watts or kilowatts of power coming through right here. And it does say the maximum required inputs is 330 to run the basic refinery. And the maximum for the basic assembler is, wow, 280. So you can't run them both at the same time right now, but you can run one at a time, which is not too bad. And it will sort of prioritize whichever one we want. So that's kind of awesome. I am actually just going to go, I think, where's the iron? It's right there, isn't it? I'm going to use this down here. And I'm actually going to right click. And what we'll do is we'll just literally head over to that iron, and I'll show you what iron looks like. I'm going to crouch into it as well. There we go. There's some iron right there. You can see it's a different sort of shade. We can dig a bunch of this up. Now, you might get a bunch of stone with this as well, but that's absolutely fine. There we go. We've got like barely any iron from that, but we did get some stone as well. So I'm going to just run out of here. Where's our entrance? This is the thing. I do get lost in these things. So entrance is right there. There it is. Nice. We can run up here. We can... Oh, middle mouse. And it's going to do the stone first, which is absolutely fine. We want it to get rid of all of the stone for us. And then you'll see, look at the iron. FE right there. Look how much is going up. That's an insane amount. That's so good. Right, I'm going to go mine some more. Although there is another unknown signal, which is about to land. But I'll wait until it gets to 12 minutes before I go to it. So, I'm just going to put down a small cargo container, which does need an interior plate. So we will put one of those on craft. It's still set to disassemble. So an interior plate, please. We'll take that, put that in our inventory. I'm going to pop it right there. Now, I can right click that. I can shift middle mouse on that one, and that will put all of those in production right there. We don't need, actually we don't need like half the stuff right here because we've already got it in here. I'm going to take all of this stuff out. Now everything will fit in the assembler, so we don't need to worry about that. So I can alt and a middle mouse to put all of that into here. Now I'm using a small cargo container. This is literally just somewhere to put stuff. Like I could put all of these veggie seeds in there. I'm actually going to eat. Ooh, hello. I'm going to eat a kelp crisp. Keep our food up, basically. Now, it's worth noting as well that with our food going up, so is our health. I wonder if we were to be at full health. By the way, our health did go up. We did level. We leveled up a little bit. The longer that you're in a world, the more buffs you get. So our health has gone all the way up to 110. And I think our like grinding speed and stuff has gone up as well. So we're quicker, basically, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to middle mouse on that one. So we just need some small tubes. We need, what, 12 small tubes? I am going to put that in myself. So let's do small tubes. Let's do assembling. So I think, is it Alt? No, whoops. Control click. That does 10. And then 1, 2. And that will put the other 2 in there. Perfect. I can drag those over. And then this is a complete small cargo container. Now, we can't get access anymore to the conveyors on the refinery, but we don't need to because we've got a conveyor on the cargo container. And the cargo container has got conveyors on every single side. It's like a 6-sided conveyor right there, which is kind of awesome. And we can literally just dump items into the cargo container. And I'm going to go to that thing over there. So I might actually just... We've got a full jetpack. We might as well just fling ourselves towards it, I suppose. Now, one pro move. It's not really that pro, but you can turn your jetpack off. And you can use gravity. I just turned it off and then turned it back on because I'm worried that I'm going to fling myself and hurt myself. Okay. Oh, this one's interesting. Oh, we've done this one already. It was just red, I think, last time. I'm going to press the button. Do we get lucky? No. Not going to get lucky at all in this series. Now, one of the things you can do is you can disassemble these med kits. 1, 2, 3. I don't know what you get from them. Nickel, silicon, and iron, apparently. But ideally, at some point, we'll try and get ourselves some medical components. Now, we can actually rip out of this the survival kit if we wanted to. And we could put it on this grid right here. A big version of the survival kit. I'm not going to do that, though. What we're going to do is we're going to try and make ourselves... Well, first off, let's go into our G menu and we'll have a look. I want to make a food processor. We can't do that because progression. Okay, so food processor, I think. There you go. We need to make the algae farm first. Interesting. Okay, so we'll make an algae farm. I was going to put the algae farm on top of the food processor. So that's kind of an annoying thing to happen right there, but that's fine. I'm going to put it here. We'll destroy it afterwards, and we'll put the food processor down as well. Because the idea is I'll put the... Yeah, put it on top like that. I like that idea. Right. So we need some steel plates. Just get it started. And then we can put that on the build planner. Take all of the stuff that we can currently put in there like that. And then shift, middle mouse. And I'll put all of them into production. Why did it say it can't put... Oh, yeah, because that's on disassemble mode. Shift, middle mouse. There you go. Right, it says that we need a ton of silicon. So what we're going to do is, I believe, over... Okay, iron is over there. We've got base right there. Okay, let's have a look at our GPS. So we can turn that one back on. I believe it's quite far away, though. I don't know how far away that one is. Yeah, 2 kilometers away. That's not too bad. We can make it in our little rover. So I'm going to go on a little adventure to go and get some silicon.
Inventory full.
I might have accidentally flipped over my buggy. There is a way to get around this, by the way. I believe if we go into control panel. By the way, I think it's K to get straight to the control panel. Yeah, looks like. If we go to the gyroscope, I think there's a way of basically telling this override controls, and then that will flip us back over. Sometimes. There you go. And then we can do that. There you go. Right. We've made it. I might have taken some damage right there. I have no idea what the terrain is like around here, but it does not look nice. Let's just say that. Right. I managed to get all of the stuff we needed for the algae farm. And again, as I said, I'm just going to break this down as soon as it's functional. Such a weird thing to do, I know, but we need to do that because we needed that for the progression that we've got turned on. You can actually turn progression off and just build everything from the get-go. Now, if we have a look in here and we do food, there you go, there's the food processor. So I'm going to put a food processor here. I'm purely doing this, by the way, because if I do this, there we go. Let's do it the other way around, like that. The food processor has... I'm putting up here, by the way. The only reason I'm doing that is because the conveyor is on the bottom and on the top. And then what I can do... Hopefully I didn't put those two... No, I'm good. What I can do is I can put the algae farm on top of this. And it makes sense that way, in my head at least. And then we'll get some oxygen and hydrogen from ice. And we'll probably call it an episode there. Call it a video, I think. So, with the sun coming in, it looks like we've got 2 bars on this. This would be 2 bars again if it was a solar panel. These kind of have the same sort of feel to them. And it was 3 bars now. Love it. That basically means that we are going to get ourselves some algae from that, like, relatively quickly. If we keep an eye, you can see the algae farm right there. We can actually go into the control panel. And I am going to rename this because we've only got one, but it's the second one we made technically on this grid. There we go. It is fully awake. Now, another thing I would say is I added way more of these wind turbines because it was just super slow and the wind turbines weren't producing that much. So I added extras, as you can tell. Why does it say we got 5? 1, 2... Oh, yeah, we have. 1 on the top and then 4 around the base. So 5. And they are producing a ridiculous amount right now. Actually, they're not. It says 70 as their current output. But we have got a max output right now of 600 because we've got all 5 of them running. Pretty good. So, we can produce whatever we fancy with this. The only thing we can't produce right now is the metal grids because we don't have any cobalt. However, we can go and get some cobalt because we got it... Where is it? It is right there. So we can go mine some, put it in here, get ourselves some cobalt. I think right now we are refining. Where is it? Inventory. Yeah, we're refining some of the silicon. It does take quite a long time when you've got like the solid materials, the solid ores. You've got to keep that in mind. And I think the last thing actually we're going to do before we end the video is I'm probably going to remove my survival kit from here and I'm going to put it on the base instead. Now, as I was driving around earlier, I did accidentally like flip this, didn't I? Now, if I'd accidentally reversed backward into something and this thing got destroyed, I would have no way of getting back to my base. And we'd have to respawn, like, and it would be really far away. You would spawn into the same world. You just have to find yourself. Find your old body and everything. And it's kind of annoying because getting back here, it could be really, really difficult. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the survival kit apart. I'm actually going to try and think about a place where we could put it. I'm thinking we could literally put it here. Because the survival kit has got a conveyor on the side. And it's got another conveyor on the other side. Now, what I probably should do is if we do survival kit. There you go. Survival kit. Right there. I've actually got a different type of survival kit. Which was added in the latest update, right? And this one, I think, has got an up and down. I actually want left and right, don't I? So actually, we will use the survival kit, the other version. This is the regular version. This is the one that everyone gets. So I am going to put it like there, if I can. Steel plates. Okay. Take some steel plates and pop it there. And we can still access the conveyor right there, so we can still grab a bunch of stuff. But what we're going to do is we are just going to grind and take the survival kit off the back of our whole thing right there. And that'll give us basically all the things we need for the big survival kit. And there we go. We've got a functional survival kit right here as well. Now, what is lovely about this one is I can hold... There you go. It went from like 80 to 100% on the power. So you can get more out of this one from the grid that we've got. Now, there's a big hole in the back of our... In the back of our little rover that we've got right here. This still will drive around and stuff. But what I'm going to do... I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a... we can put a conveyor converter right there. I think that's the thing. This thing. Conveyor converter. So this thing, we can maybe slot it in right there. That's not the way I wanted it to go. I think that way. Okay, let's put it there. I think that would be a good place to put it. And then what we can do from there is put a medium cargo container on the back. And it will be basically like the survival kit never left. And just like that, there is the conveyor converter, which means it will be a big conveyor to a set of 3 small ones, right? So we can do both of those. And again, we can just add both of those to our build menu. Right, here we go. I can weld all of this up. There we go. And now we've got a place where we can just dump stuff. This is going to be super, super useful for when we go and we drive over to get like more silicon, for example. Or if we need like magnesium or something like that. Oh, well, Survivor level 2. Shift B. 120% health. And then we got better welding speed, movement speed, and oxygen consumption goes down. That's pretty decent. I do like that. Now, I'm going to make one more thing. We're not going to make the H2O2 or the O2H2, whatever it is, generator in today's episode. What we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves in production go over to, I think it's equipment. Nope. Which one is it? Tools. I thought in here we had the ability. Why does this say survival kit? Oh, because I'm in the survival kit. I added one of these. It'll be in the basic assembler. If we go over to, I think it's equipment, we've got a hydrogen bottle. So I can click on that. And it should, if we had all of the components, it should make us a hydrogen bottle. Which we've got right there. Now, we can fill this up via a tank. Now, we do have a few tanks right here. Small oxygen tank is right there. And we've got, I think on this side, small hydrogen tank. I don't know if we put that in there, if it will fill up. I don't think it will. I don't think it can get via the conveyors. So we might not be able to do it on here. But what we could do is we could put it in the large hydrogen oxygen generator. And then from there, convert ice into hydrogen, put it into the hydrogen bottle. And then we can fly around for far longer. Because the hydrogen bottle will keep our hydrogen topped up. So that's kind of the basics of Space Engineers. I wanted to just show this to you guys because I think a bunch of you would love this game. As I said, the main issue I say with this whole game is the GUI or the GUI, because people hate when I say GUI. But yeah, the main issue is going to be the user interface. But once you get your head around it, it's actually pretty decent. I didn't even show you half the capabilities of the stuff you can make in this game. So you can make yourself like little drones that fly between bases. You could almost think about this as if it's like Factorio. And I know a load of you love that as well. So anyway, for now, I am going to call it here, I think. I am thinking maybe I will continue with this series, as in I'm going to continue playing this world on my other channel that I've got. I've got a channel called More Pilpoh. If you're interested, then I'll have a link to that in the description of this video. Go and have a look there. I might have a couple more videos on this at some point when I get some time and when I can be bothered to record on Space Engineers, because I think I love this game so much. I probably should do some videos on it. Anyway, I'm going to call it here. Thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.